Questlove Show is a production of iHeartRadio. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Questlove. This is the Questlove Show. It's not often that one gets a career that enables him to write his own ticket and fulfill a bunch of bucket list dreams, of which creating this very platform to nerd out on some of my favorite people in creativity. Our guest today is absolutely no exception. His creativity is so strong, so stringent, so powerful that it actually inspired my best friend and I in high school to start our own group. Not many people can claim that. Look, man, all I can say is that Kelvin Posdnuos Mercer has agreed to let me ask him 86 questions. And number one, how you doing today, sir?
I'm
What's
good,
going on?
man. I mean, thank you for the intro. Because, bro, I mean, sometimes when I'm blessed to hear you say things like that, I already view our relationship as brothers and friends. So, I sometimes have to look through you like, okay, yeah, maybe this is how when I talk to Jeff, but when I get off the phone, I'm like, damn, that's Jazzy Jeff, but I'm his friend. So,
Right.
uh, I
Yes, I won't make it weird.
It's not weird at all. It's a blessing, but
Well,
it
thank you,
does
man.
feel like, wait a minute, is he talking about me? Because I'm his homeboy, but
I got to start. Could you please tell me how you met Trugoy the Dove, Dejaliker, from De La Soul?
well, when I moved to Long Island from the Bronx, and started going to school, the first two people I met, the first person I met was a girl named Regina Peters, and the very second person I met in school who was so cool to me was a brother by the name of Michael Jollicoeur,
Hmm.
which is Dave's brother. So that's how I got to know Dave. I was actually friends with his brother Mike,
Yeah.
and I would see Dave from afar. Like, oh, that's Mike's brother Dave. So I mean, this is me and Mike in fourth grade. I didn't really get cool with Dave where I knew him as like Dave, maybe more towards like eighth grade. And
Yeah,
like,
I'm
but
about to say when you're younger, when someone's like 2 or 3 years younger than you, that's a whole nother generation.
pretty much.
So he was like a little kid to you, and then suddenly like he just grew up, and then all right, he's
Well,
cool enough to.
him and Mike were very close, even though like he's the older brother. He was very close. I mean, older by what? I don't know, 2 years maybe.
Okay,
But they were very close. But like I said, it was just that Dave had his set of friends. And like if I was coming around, it was because of Mike. It really wasn't because of Dave at all. So like
got
as
it.
much as I would see Dave, Dave would just see me basically because Mike had brought me around. So it
We
really
should
felt
also note that Mike was also like a legendary tour manager. Um, I first met Mike because he was tour managing Common. Like, how was he? You guys' tour manager when you first started, or
yeah, he was our road manager starting from about 89, when we went on that
okay?
night for LL. So yeah, he started out as our road manager. Um, yeah, and just worked his way into like doing it and tour managing for other artists. Yeah.
So how did you meet Vincent Mason Maceo?
Mace in school. I mean, he moved from Brooklyn. I just saw him in the school. Or see him around because he's just stood out. A lot of times when someone new come to the school, they just stand out immediately.
And what
And
school was this?
this is Amityville Junior High. So this is junior high school, and Mace was a fairly big guy. So I was like,
Hmm.
who's the new dude? And I'm just assuming he was going to be in my grade, and he was actually like a grade below. So yeah, I mean, we didn't talk for the first time until we met through a mutual friend of ours who he was actually the first DJ that me and Dave was dealing with named Charlie Rock. And that's how we met Mace to actually have conversations with him.
So, what was the difference between Long Island life versus life in the Bronx?
Well, I mean, for me, the immediate difference was the difference between a project building and in houses and in green grass. And but
Right,
I must say, even when I was living in Nelson Avenue in the Bronx, I mean, it was a lot of community. You were kind of really close around each other. So luckily enough, the kids, we all communed together, and the parents was really nice to us. But I had got an understanding of what, say, open air living was when my mother would send me and my brothers to Waynesboro, Georgia every summer. So we never spent the summer in the Bronx. So by the time they was moving us to Long Island, it was like a similar feel of like, oh, houses, space, you have a backyard, you got a front yard. So that was the major difference immediately. And then being able to just, I guess my mother feel like it was safe for us to not be in her eyes view. So when we was in the Bronx, we would play like downstairs in the main area where every parent could see their kids. Like my mother was felt cool enough for me to ride my bike off of the block. So
right.
it was also something that was just afforded within Long Island.
Any recollection or memories of any of the folklore that the Bronx speaks on in their early years, like any block parties, or
I mean,
have you heard a yes yes y'all from
honestly, no, I didn't see that. I didn't see hip hop block parties. I mean, the Jamaican brothers in our building, like they could turn around and have speakers out, or you can hear music playing loud like that. But I personally didn't see any like Bronx block party.
at any point in the De La Soul timeline, were you and Dave ever at any point just regular ass yes yes y'all MCs? Like, and I'm here to say, has that ever been like your second line in any rhyme you've ever said? Just like,
Nah, I mean, all of us getting bit by the hip hop bug from the earlier days of it, it was just more being a listener. Um, but by the time I really wanted to pick up a pen and do it, I was already bitten by Treacherous 3 and how their cadences were. So no, I really wasn't like yes, yes, y'all into the beat. Nah.
right.
It's like Sires of the Phone, creator of a new tone. It's a must. You put your trust in my sound and style. That's how I started rhyming.
How social were you guys before the concept of, hey, let's start a group?
Social and how and I don't know what you
Like just being friends and hanging. When I met Tariq, I'll pretty much say that we were a group maybe 3 months later. I mean, or at least my job was to hit the lunch table,
yeah.
and that's how I gained access with it. So, like, was music the immediate social adhesive that brought you guys together,
Um, like I said, me and Dave
or
was
or at what point did you guys say like, hey, let's be a group? Like, how long was it before?
it before Dilla, it was more like we were just doing it. Like I said, everyone was bitten by this bug, and I was like breaking, popping, and
Okay,
rapping. So, it was almost at one point, me, Dave, and a couple other friends. One of our friends, Anthony Bryan, his pops was trying to put us together to possibly go on an Apollo, and we was going to dance and pop.
what?
So, yeah, so that it was stuff like that going on. We didn't really say we wanted to be a group or try some hip hop group thing until Dave, who was just into beatboxing, he beatboxed against in a school function against a really well-known beatbox called Paul Carey. He was really dope at beatboxing. And Dave just kind of battled him, and it was like right from there, like Dave was really nervous, but he did his thing. And then we all went outside, and we was like, yo, that was so dope. And we was like, we should form a group. And that's when the first time we even pictured anything about let's be a group outside of this. us being a fan of just the music.
Was De La Soul the name of that group, or did you go through other iterations
It
beforehand?
was called Easy Street. I wanted it to be called Sop Sounds because I was already writing and just thinking of different names because it was just something I would do. And so when we was just thinking of like a name for the group, and this is us outside of the high school, just thinking like, what could we do? We was like, yo, what kind of name? And I was like, yo, we should call ourselves Sop Sounds. And then I explained to them like, yeah, my mother always be like, yo, you better sop up that syrup in that plate. So I was like, yo, we are all these different sounds, but sop together. And everyone was like, nah, Merce, that doesn't sound nah. Anthony Brown was like, yo, let's call ourselves Easy Street. I thought that was the wackest shit ever, but everyone loved it. Everyone was like, yeah, Easy Street. And that was Dave being a beatbox, me being a DJ, my people's Anthony, my people's Rob, and my people's KD. His name was Kelvin too. They were the MCs. So that was the first group me and Dave was in, Easy Street. And
Got it.
even Dave beatboxing and me cutting, we was even still putting together rhymes to give to them to say as they even wrote their own rhymes.
Can you tell me the story of how you met Paul Houston, Prince Paul?
Oh, Paul was the cousin of the first girl I told you I met, the first person I met in high school, which was Regina Peters. So
Okay,
you just knew Paul from afar. Paul was just very cool, very intelligent guy who could just DJ his ass off. He was just a great DJ in the neighborhood. Um, so just knew him from afar. I think he was in probably in the same grade, or maybe no, the same grade as my brother, Tyrone. So yeah, I mean, just knew him from afar. And so me and Regina being really good friends, I found out, oh, that's her cousin. And even he DJ like one of her birthday parties that we would be at. So we just knew Paul like as like, yo, that's Paul. He was really cool, but that was DJ Prince Paul from afar.
got
You
it.
know what I'm saying? I must say I probably didn't even meet him where we exchanged anything between each other until Mace got with Paul to work with him on something that a gentleman on my block, his name was Mr. Everett Collins, and he was the tour drummer for Isley Brothers, as
Hmm.
well as our music teacher. So once Mace was working with Paul on that, he was the one who then introduced me and Dave to Paul. And I think Dave actually knew Paul, but I didn't know him. Like Paul knew my brother Tyrone, and he knew me as like, oh, that's Tyrone's little brother, Kelvin. And I
Got it.
knew well.
So, the now on the 35th anniversary of 3 Feet High and Rising, you guys included the original plug tuning and also the original Freedom of Speak, Prince Paul. Like that was just you guys on your own.
Yeah,
How did you guys make that? Like, what equipment did you
I
use?
think it was an RZ1 Mace had. He had the RZ1 drum machine. We also had this oh man, what's the name of it? I know it was I want to say we had like this TIAC, I think that's the way you say it, eight
Hmm.
track recording recorder. And then we also had the little Casio with the sample where you could sample into it. And I think me and you spoke about this before, but the little Casio with the keyboards and had the four,
SK1.
there you go.
Oh no, the one with the 4 drum pads on it.
Yep, the four drum
That's a
pad.
more advanced version. Okay, so this is
Yeah.
like 86, 80. What was this, 86 or 87? You're speaking of?
Like 80, yeah, 86.
Okay,
I don't know, maybe I think it was the pad one we had. So yeah, because we would put noises in that because that's where I first even did the three's the magic number for the demo. I would just keep hitting it, and then we would loop the beat from what was that
Led Zeppelin.
no, no, well, no, we took it from the hip hop history lesson 3, Double D and Steinsky.
Oh, okay, I got it. Okay,
That's what we did it, which was like you said the Led Zeppelin drums.
got it.
But yeah, I mean, it was just those things we was working with in the house. It was very limited equipment. We thought it was the most amazing equipment at that time. And we would just redub. We would do one take of something, then dub over the next take, and yeah, is that simple.
What was it about Paul that showed you guys that you guys spoke the same language, and what was the basic process in just pushing the train along to let's be a group to let's make a demo to let's try to get a record deal.
Well, once Paul heard the demos, it was great to have him hear it because, mind you, at this point, this is now Prince Paul. It's not DJ Paul. This is
Right.
Prince Paul who's now with Stat, and they already got like a single out, Rock de la Stet, or already went into their first album. So at that point, you figure Paul wanted to meet with me, Dave, along with Mace. And so from that point, I was just very in awe of it all, but I was still very skeptic when he was just talking about wanting to now add stuff and to whatever these things that we had started to create on our own. These are just 45s out of our own home that went from a pause tape to now us working on in Mace Basement. We was very proud of it. And we was very happy to now that Paul wanted to be a part of it. But when I remember him having that conversation, like, I would love to try to add some stuff to it and da da da. And in my heart, I was like, I don't know if I'm with all that, but let's see where it goes. And when he added what he added, when he updated everything, it was absolutely mind blowing. And then even then, it wasn't until like us like really just hanging around each other amongst this time, he heard some of the other stuff we was doing, which were the skits, this us just having fun. It wasn't even skits to us. It was just when we were just lacking off, supposed to be doing what we was doing, and we were just having fun being idiots. And Paul was just like, yo, look what I do with my friends. And he put in the VH tape of him overdubbing him and his friend's voiceover like karate flicks. That is where I was like, yo, this dude is like us. Like he's exactly like us.
Wait, he would do that just to do it?
Yeah, they would like literally put vocal clubs over karate tapes, like, "Ooh, you stole my doodle, and it's time to fight." Like he would do stuff like that.
So he would have been amazing on Instagram and YouTube had that been
Indeed, indeed.
25 years earlier. Mind you, I know that I'm rehashing stuff that we've talked about personally, but we've never been on this platform to speak of it. Um, all right, this is the most mind blowing thing. Could you give me what the budget was to record the entire 3 Feet High and Rising album?
It was like $13,000, if like 11,000, $13,000.
Like, I think maybe the distortion of static, like Bob Powers' budget for mixing might have been like half that. So I was just mind blown that you guys were able to make an entire revolution in such a limited financial capacity. Did you think that was fairly typical back then, or did you know like, okay, I'm on an independent label, and because in our mind we're like, yeah, the you're under the Tommy Boy umbrella. So I'm thinking you guys are lighting up cigars with $100 bills and
I mean, and mind you, humbly, we had no idea.
right.
Tommy Boy was one of those labels that just the logo alone meant something to you the way the Def Jam logo meant something to you. You know what I'm saying? So, and we were blessed to have all these different labels want to sign us, but we felt comfortable being with Tommy Boy because they were like in our mind a premium label of hip hop, and Prince Paul, our big brother, was there. So I
Gotcha.
mean, when we got the budget, we didn't know any better. We didn't know. I mean, and being very honest, we're kids from a, fairly middle class, working middle class family. We had good living, but we thought $13,000 was a lot of money. So,
Gotcha.
and whatever we had to do, what we had to do. Paul was very aware of, I'm assuming, of whatever budget he had with Stetsasonic, and he was very aware of, like, when we were going to Calliope, as creative and as beautiful Paul made the environment. Paul was very much to the clock. He was like, he would look like, all right, we need to wrap things up, or so he was very aware and very frugal of what we needed to spend. But yeah, I had no idea that $13,000 was nothing. Whereas, of course, like these days, I mean, so you asking an MC to rhyme for $13,000, that's probably like four lines out of someone.
The thing is that especially with the first two records, you guys really make it sound like you lived in that environment. Um, So I can't even fathom, like in my mind, like everything has to be made and created in one specific space simply because like even the way that you guys make the skit sound, you guys make the skit sound very off the cuff.
Mhm.
Although when you listen to those skits, they're also like well crafted and well produced. Like a song like "Kicked Out the House" just feels like when it's the Roots, we will be at sound check, and then Tuba will wear something real ugly or whatever, and then we'll break out in a song and make fun of him for 5 minutes. But it's like us making it off the cuff, and you guys make it feel like it's off the cuff. Although I know a lot of planning goes into those skits, and I just always wondered like how much time is spent at Calliope. Is Calliope just for vocals, and then you guys have a sort of a home base center in which the tape or the mic is always running in case something funny happens, it goes or
No, it was a little bit of all of it, honestly. We knew like we had a plan for what we need to do. We had, Paul would give homework assignments like, so yo, okay, we got this song that looks like y'all want to call ghetto thing. So Merce and Dave, you need to make sure you got this ready for that. Um, Honestly, that first album, a lot of that was just off the cuff with the skits. By the time we got to De La Soul, it was more like, okay, we're going to plan, I got this funny idea for a
right.
skit,
Okay,
you know. So I mean, like a lot of things like say De La Soul Orgy, it was just Paul already had the beat looped. We were just trying to figure out what we could do with it. I make a joke and be like, we should moan and groan over it. He's like, that's a great idea. I was only joking. We all now have to go into the booth, moan and groan. Wait a minute, our one of our dancers and Dave's cousins there, y'all come in as the girls and do this, your tip coming with us. Then out of nowhere, we get De La Orgy. So a lot of that was just, it was not planned for the 3 Feet High joint. By the time we got to De La Soul is Dead, yeah, like you said, like we knew we wanted to make this song called Kicked Out the House. And then
got it.
Paul comes up with the beat at home. We come in, Dave comes with the chorus, and then we like, yo, we should get Bobby, the drummer from Stet, to act like he's Colonel Abrams, and everyone's laughing, and he does it. Like then that's where you do it a little bit more of the magic of on the
Got it.
cuff, but we're still playing.
To me, it's like you might lose the funny if you plan it. Okay, press play, and then it's like, all right, well the
Well,
joke's over now. But it just always felt like the tape was running.
no, it could be because, like I said, with De La Soul is Dead, Dave just happened to be bugging out on the piano. I'm sitting down like on the far couch in Calliope, and he's just on the piano just doing stupid shit. And out of nowhere, Paul is just like he's signaling the engineer, like, put the mic on, put the mic on. And then he's just kind of sitting next to him, and that becomes
So
that.
mics are always set up in the live studio. Like,
Yeah, it was just set up. So he just told him to turn the mic on. And Dave didn't realize that what was happening. And next thing I know, that becomes the skit that goes in front of the Bitties and the BK line.
what was the very first song worked on for 3 Feet High and Rising? Aside from Plug Tuning.
Like a lot of that was just stuff at home. So plug tuning, freedom of speak, all that was done at the same time at the crib. And then of course we came into Calliope to do it. I would say the next song, once we like got an album deal, um, because yeah, the next album was the next single deal was Potholes and Jennifer. I don't know. I want to say for some reason I want to say No Go. We
Okay,
just it's kind of start all falling out of us. It was just already ideas at that point we had. Like I knew I wanted to do something with the Hall and Notes record. I
right,
knew I wanted to do something with the Steely Dan record, and then we just started putting these things together.
got it. Okay, so this album is also being made pre Pro Tools access. So when you guys are doing things like the chopsticks bit on Jennifer,
Mhm.
is this the era of having to splice tape, or are you guys like the Bomb Squad, in which by bar 64 you got to go down to 22 BPMs, or is it
The editing for that particular song, it was an edit of us putting in the chopsticks. But versus Biddies in the BK Lounge, it was just all sweet chaos. Like things was lined up, and by the time Dave finished his, because it was like, okay, I want to do this song. I remember I'm with Tip. We were shopping for records. I'm like, yo, I want to do like a Roxanne, Roxanne. Like UTFO had the three beats for Roxanne,
Hmm.
Roxanne. I want to do that for us. So that becomes this idea to attach. It became what I wanted to attach to this idea of us making something about going into Burger King. So once we start putting it together, everything was just laid together. So Dave's music, which is the Tanya Gardner No Frills record, my music, which is what is that?
It's your thing.
It's Your Thing, and Mace's music. So like it was all lined up together. And so we just kind of like had to realize, all right, Dave, you ended it right there. We click in the It's Your Thing. It don't sound right. So he was like, okay, we gotta extend it a little bit longer, say something. He said, stupid bitches. And then all of a sudden,
Oh, I thought you were saying spin the burger. All right, all right, all right. I still thought you were saying spin the burger from the
no, no.
beginning, but
So
stupid bitches.
yeah, and all of a sudden it works. All right, cool. And let's start there. Like it was just chaos, sweet chaos, like nothing like it. Yeah.
Now that time has passed, uh, the Flo and Eddie situation, um, with the turtles. Of course, you guys were part of the this landmark situation in which a sample wasn't cleared. Kids of the Turtles were fans of you guys, heard it. Mom and Dad, listen, they're playing your music, and suddenly they get litigious. I mean, at its the lure of it, I was led to believe like between you guys and Biz Markie, like those were the darkest days in history, and da 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 da. Was it just basically we cleared the sample and that was it, or like, I mean, at its worst, were you guys sued for trillions, or like, I never knew what happened at the end of that situation.
It got settled. I was actually with our legal team, meeting with their legal team. Their legal team, the lead lawyer, he was a big Dilla fan. He wanted an autograph and everything. Um,
Mm.
oh yeah, it wasn't anything. I mean,
But
outside of realizing, okay, we're getting sued for something we thought we handed, not even that we thought, we knew we handed in to Tommy Boy. That in
right,
itself was very upsetting to us. Um, but yeah, the actual dealing with it, it wasn't anything I would say crazy outside of realizing we had to meet up with these people, come to an understanding of what it should be, which we wound up doing. Tommy Boy wound up paying them some money. I didn't learn the fact that here it is, the money that Tommy Boy was going to pay them to settle this was going to come out of our shit. And then that was another thing that kind of like made us learn about, wow, like we're being punished for something we actually handed in.
gotcha.
It all falls on us. But the dude was cool about it. The lawyer, their lawyer, and it didn't seem like he was being mean or anything. He actually, in speaking to our lawyer, was like, if the guys wanted to actually work with the turtles, maybe that could be a solve. And we were just kind of like creatively like, nah, we want to do that because if it was about that, maybe y'all should have just led with that. I just think like, nah, like
Right.
now in hindsight, maybe that's what we should have did. But I mean, I just felt like we just felt like, nah, man, like y'all just came and tried to sue us, and now you're getting this money, but now you're trying to work with us. It didn't make no sense.
The way that I was shot for records back then was literally look at all the sample credits, and then
Mhm.
know to get that artist, and then anything that they've been on, and anything they've been, and so on and so forth. So, like on their side of the fence, none of them saw this as like a good look. In other, I mean, look, for George Clinton, he admitted, dude, if it weren't for y'all, the third renaissance of Parliament Funkadelic
Yeah,
would have never happened. So he was glad to play ball, but they didn't see
yeah.
it that way.
And I'm being very honest and very understanding of them. I don't know what the members of Turtles wanted. I could
Gotcha.
only speak to what the lawyer was saying.
So you guys never spoke to them personally, or
Never spoke to them personally at
gotcha.
all. This is just what the lawyer was saying. Maybe they weren't even involved as they, I could, even in hindsight, looking at it, I'm sure like they weren't heavily involved in this. It was like it could have been the record company making sure that the lawyers did what they were supposed to do.
Dude, why was I know? never ever released in the United States as a single because when the smoke clears, when people talk about 3 Feet High and Rising, the first thing they mention, even before Hall and Notes, but even before the sketches and all that stuff, is oh my god, they're rhyming over Steely Dan. I fucking love. Like, how come you guys never released that here?
It was a Tommy Boy. It was the label's decision. I don't know. Like, I don't know if they felt like the album was running out of steam. I mean, even by the time we did Buddy, and we did this remix to Buddy, that just ignited a whole nother level of what it could be.
Right.
Um, but I loved I Know. I mean, I'm being honest, I produced I Know. So I would have
Yeah.
loved it to be what it needed to be in the States. But we definitely saw when we would perform it what it would be there. And I think Tommy Boy led with that understanding as well, and that's why they only did it there. But I agree. I would have loved to seen that release. But I mean, if I am to be very honest, after having Say No Go and then come with I Know, I think that even we was at a point where it was like, yo, we're losing anyone who looks like this. You know,
Got you.
we need Buddy. Like I think that's where it was even for us.
Okay. Has JJ Fad ever responded to Democratic?
No, not at all. I mean, we did a lot of shows with them, and it was the nicest girls. And funny enough, even at the hip hop joint that you were involved in, we spoke with them. And but
Right.
yeah, man, we used to see them a lot back in the day, even just being around NWA and them. But nah, I mean, they was really cool with us. We was really cool with them. No, I
Gotcha.
don't ever think they saw it as a diss. We didn't definitely even mean it as a diss, you know.
Oh, I didn't see it as a diss, but I mean, it's definitely referential
Oh
to
yeah, yeah, supersonic, definitely, definitely.
right. So Tommy Boy would often go heavy on the like quirky contest things, like guess that sample for whatever. Did anyone ever win that shit? And what was the prize?
I don't think no one won that. I'm being honest. I don't think they. It's almost like, and I remember being in meetings and in that particular meeting, and Tom was like, "No one's gonna guess this, Pops. No one's gonna guess it." Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think
I
they
think they were
really.
offering like $1,000, like guesses.
Yeah, no one, no one, no one,
I
no one.
went like for a good 2 hours. I went through my dad's entire record collection. Like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna find this shit, and I didn't.
no one. Like and it's funny because, like you said, in today's time, or even if you scroll back, I don't know, 15 years, like you got everyone who will be like, "Yo, it's this, is that?" Nah, like back then, no one knew.
Okay, so can you please tell us? I mean, I know it's probably just to be silly, and I know it wasn't any logic behind it, but the overkill of Slick Rick's voice as sort of the connecting factor of De La Soul's Dead with his entire like lottie dottie ending thing. Like, what was the genesis of the obsession? And was that sample just always on standby when you wanted to? Was it like on the SK1 just like in case someone wanted to use it? Or?
It was pretty much. I mean, like, pretty much. I'm being honest, pretty much. It was just like we knew, like, after maybe the second time, it was just like, yo, this should be out. This would be funny if it just be out the album. And you know, Paul has that sinister laugh, like, yo, this is so stupid. This is be stupid. We got to figure out another place to put it. And so wherever it would naturally feel right, we would do it. And like, so I remember when Dave did it at the end of when he was like, yo, Merce, do it at the end of your rhyme. Do it at the end of your rhyme to the Bitty, to LaShawn.
Right.
Like, we the big put I can't
All
be.
right.
And I feel like this is yo, man, we were just really, really
So that wasn't added in mastering or whatever. Like that was
ah, no, that was right there in the studio, although, yeah. Yeah.
okay. Um, and what? Just for those that who don't know, what is the significance behind the title of you guys being plugs?
Well, Plug started only from a fans. We had the single called Plug Tuning. And so with me being the one saying plug one, Dave saying plug two. It wasn't that wasn't anything by design. It was just like this. We wanted to start the record off on something. And that was just even when Mace used to cut the record as a routine. Because you got to remember, plug tuning was just a routine. We was also like the children of like, the Cold Crush, the Dougie Fresh, the Slick Ricks. So we would plug tuning routine in the house. And like, instead of being like 1, 2, 1, 2, we'd be like plug one, plug two, like to just routine plug tuning.
Got it.
So I just happened to be the one saying plug one. Dave was the one saying plug two.
Got it.
By the time we made a record out of it, performed it live, we performed it live for the first time at Sonic's release party. And from that night, people was saying to me, "Yo, plug one, I saw you the other day." And Dave was plug two. So the people who saw us named us those names. That was
And by the
never.
way, who came up with the name De La Soul?
It was me and Dave because I wanted, when we just trying to think of names, I came to Dave, was like, yo, I think we should call ourselves From the Soul. And I gave him the whole reason behind it. I was like, I think everything we do is from our heart and soul. And I think it could be really dope, like From the Soul. And Dave was like very understanding. I could see kind of in his face, he was like, nah, Mercer.
Is he the
But
king of no? He's the king of no.
yeah, like he was like, but when he listened to what I was saying, he was like, look, the meaning behind it is dope. He was like, from the soul, it doesn't sound catchy enough. Like, why don't you say instead of from the, say de la? And I was like, I'm with it. And it was that simple. And that's how it became instead of from the soul, de la soul.
Usually, the last songs worked on albums wind up being singles or like a pivotal song. What was the last song worked on for 3 Feet High and Rising?
The last song was Living in a Full-Time Era. Because we were already, and it's crazy that I can't even tell you what the last song before that, because the only reason why that became the last song is that we were very confident in the album. We loved the album. We love what we had did with this. We love the work we had produced with Paul. But when we heard The Adventures of Slick Rick, we were shook. We was like, yo, how's our album going to beat this album? Like, and not even beat it. We just thought like, how is it going to live up to this?
Right.
So I was like, yo, I think we need something else. And we love the song Lick the Balls by him on that album. We was like, yo, we need something else. And I remember this kept telling Dave, like, yo, I think I got something. And then I went in and put together the samples for Living in a Full-Time Era. This is a recording.
Gotcha.
And that's the last right. Yeah.
In light of you guys getting your masters back and re-releasing all the records again, we can hear the adjustments having to be made on 3 Feet High and Rising. For a lot of those songs, did you have to use the original reels to mix all over again from scratch? Or I'm
Yeah,
only asking because I think on not strictly Dan Stuckey on Freedom of Speak, it's sounded way clearer and like brighter. So for some of those songs, you had to get the reels and remix them from scratch.
we definitely got the reels, and we did our best because at first we did have a conversation with ourselves as saying like, should we like mix them, or should we preserve some level of it feeling like it did? So we
Right.
had to talk with ourselves, but yeah, basically we definitely tried to clean it up a bit, but not
Like I
too.
think the samples should be louder, and I always wanted to fix my last verse in.
Exactly. We was like, yo, we can't start doing that. We can't think with our 20 at that time, 2024 or 2023 mind.
Right.
We have to preserve what was made in 1989. It was very.
Okay. So I want to ask the "we hate this song" question.
Mhm.
Now, in retrospect, and mind you, this is coming from a guy that lives and breathes "De La Soul is dead,"
Mhm.
just as a life mantra. So, but in retrospect, do you feel as though you guys, and I say this in heavy air quotes, overreacted in rejecting what was clearly working for you guys in the late 80s and early 90s? Like, look, 30 years for me in the industry since 94, you know, I wonder if the resistance to mainstream, and look, I went through it twice with music and movies. Like the second it starts and you're like, this is too much. I wonder if the resistance to mainstream success and the kind of intense confrontations that arose from it was justified, considering that you're pretty much entertaining the same demographics to this day, are you not?
Hmm.
Okay, so how jarring was it? Because I do remember a period up and right up until 1994. You guys spoke about it a lot on like De La Soul is Dead, and especially on Blue Mind State. I know that Cypress Hill probably felt it the worst with like suddenly like the mainstream hip hop was like, man, they can went pop now, and all those things. But just how jarring did it feel to have that massive level of success, like at the height of De La Madness? What did it feel like?
The success itself was a blessing because I think your group understands the level of making your bones, traveling throughout the world. So just even in traveling, you saw it. You saw people in these different countries who didn't have English as a first language, and you had these people who actually learn English and learning your music and being in love with your music. So we saw how many people it did touch. We weren't just, you know, stuck, and I guess for lack of a better way of saying it, stuck in just living in the States and only understanding what happened in the States. So we saw that as a blessing of what our music and how it could touch people, what our music could do. But still, I guess the success of, yo, you could be on here. Yo, you could be on Top of the Pops. Yo, you could be over here. Hey, yo, Benny, yeah, Benny Medina. Hey, what's up? Because we knew Benny and Benny would hang out with Russell. Like, yo, maybe you should try out for this TV show that I'm trying to put together. Why don't you shoot your shot for this thing we got called Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? It was just too much. It was like, yo, we don't want to do all that. We want to make music. So I think us in our young minds was thinking like, all that extra stuff was too much. As long as the success was there with us doing our artistry, that's what it was. Even by the time we got to, like you said, Balloon Mind State, and now it's normal business, but at that time, like, no, because some niggas got hold up a Sprite can and rhyme, like it was just like, oh man, you selling out. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just
Right.
what it was then. You didn't understand this branding thing.
See, I feel like I said yes to everything that you guys would have said no to.
Mhm.
And even now I'm wondering like, did I make the right choice or did I not make the right choice? Like, that remains
Well,
to be seen. But
if I may say as well, because I can be honest in looking back in hindsight, we bitched and moaned about a few things because in the blessings we were receiving, yo man, Amir, we were just burnt out. We were like everywhere. We were doing things like this Three Feet High and Rising album has set us on this path where we could land at an airport, you do interviews at the airport, but then you didn't get into the car and then you're being interviewed by this big magazine that you're going to be on the front cover of from the airport to the hotel. And then when you get out of the hotel, then you go into this banquet room and you have this press conference. Then you got to go to sound check, but do an interview. It was all that. We were just tired of that shit.
got it.
Like, being very honest, that's just really that had a lot to do with it. It was like this, okay, so this is what you gotta be to do to be mainstream. Like, we just want to go into the studio, make records,
Hmm.
tour, whatever else come with that. I think that's really where we got burnt out from.
Okay. Uh, where is Jeff, and why wasn't Mac Daddy on the left or Brainwash Follower included on the 3 feet reissues?
I think it's just I think us along with Reservoir, we just needed to tag out a bit because of the fact that there was a lot of samples that weren't taken care of and that we took care of. And then it's kind of like, okay, and then we up for another round. Okay, so let's go to another round of, okay, these songs these great songs that y'all put together on these 12 inches. Let's get to it. And I mean, we're going to get to it.
So you
Um,
guys are fully aware that we're like waiting for the rest of the 3 feet high.
yeah,
And, okay, okay. Just wanted to make sure you knew we were waiting for that, not just like they don't care. Okay,
nah. And
but
Jeff's a family guy. He just lives at home with his family. I
how
mean,
old is Jeff now? Like he's got to be in his 40s now, right?
easily, yeah, easily, because yeah, I mean, maybe still late 30s. I want to say maybe late
Besides
30s.
Mac Daddy, were there any other songs with him rhyming on it?
Jeff was a part of this crew Dave was going to do. Wow, and I can't remember the name, which is absolutely horrible. They put together a dope ass demo, and Jeff had changed his name to Philly Black. He was in Philly one night, drunk too much and blacked out, and then his name became Philly Black. So Jeff is Jeff is Philly Black on our Bionics album. We have the song called The Sauce, and that's
Right.
Jeff. So Jeff is Philly Black on that album. But I think
Really?
not, yeah. Jeff was rhyming his ass off on that album. But yeah,
I I didn't know that was him. Okay. All right. I didn't
yeah,
know.
I mean, it's this demo that Dave put together, and I'm gonna remember after the interview, which is horrible. Like Dave put together this collective. It was Jeff, Philly Black, it was Dave,
Hmm.
it was Divine, who rhymes on Pawn Star on our Bionics album,
Got it.
someone else, and it was just a bunch of really, really amazing music. But it never, and then it was supposed to come out funny enough on Tommy Boy, and it just, I don't know what happened.
Okay, you guys are the king of the side group stories. Literally every time I talk to you, you talk about, well, we had a group with this group and that group and that group. Like how many side groups were there in the native tongue sphere?
You're talking about the Fabulous Fleas, which was me, Tip, Juju, Africa, Kids on Zenith Ave, which was Dave, Sammy B, Mace, and Mike G. I think someone else was in that with them. We had something that we was going to call the Hoods, which was just all of everyone in native, but we was going to call it the Hoods. Yeah, we were just, I mean, we was just very, very
Were
much taken out of the Parliament Funkadelic.
were the Violators ever supposed to be an actual group, or you just they were just the crew?
No, they was just the crew. They were just the crew. It wasn't really supposed to be, not that I know of, but they weren't really supposed to be rhyming.
I got it. Okay. Well, I mean, they were just always given equal billing, so I just never knew.
Yeah.
So obviously the sound of De La changed on the De La Soul's Dead album, and most notably the musical backdrop. How were the records acquired for 3 Feet High and Rising? Whereas I'm certain now that you're touring the world and you get to shop, you know.
Every record used on 3 Feet was just records that were from our parents' collection. So Plug Tuning, that was my father's record. Jennifer, that was my father's record. Like whatever. I mean, Paul was probably the only one at that time already being in Stet, but he was still using like his own record collection. But I think it was still records that he acquired on his own, or he may have gotten from his bigger brother, his older brother, and maybe some records he may have gotten being on the road. But the majority of records were just from our home, from myself, Dave, and Mace. Just
So
records we.
for the first generation of like crate digging in a non Bimbada flash way, how heavy was the environment back in the dawn of the 90s? Like for our listeners that are listening, there was a probably the Bible of breakbeats, which was a compilation called Ultimate Beats and Breaks, which every rapper worth their grain of salt between that classic era of like 85 to 90 were pretty much using this. It was like Wikipedia or AI for breakbeats, but it was always the same like 60 songs. And what made De La notable was that they colored outside the lines, and it was a period of like discovery, like, oh, the other the parts of the record collection that you ignore in your parents' house. Like, oh, there's some stuff on there too. But yeah, like for me, I feel like De La Soul's Dead was the first what we call like the digging in the crates era. Then there would be some moments where I was wondering, were you trying to? Even back then, I was wondering, were you trolling us? Like using Funky Drummer on Oodles of Old on the fade out. Like it worked for me, but then I always wondered, like, were you guys being sarcastic or like why would you use Funky Drummer? Like by that point, everyone had played it to the ground, and yet you used it on the fade out. So I always wondered, was that by design? And also, you know, Afroconnections at a high five. Nobody in their right mind would use mustache era James Brown for anything.
Hmm.
And it's almost like you guys chose the worst James Brown song ever, which is, for goodness sakes, take a look at those cakes, which no self respecting rapper would ever rhyme over. And yet y'all did it. Can you explain the logic? Like, in the way you're smiling, I feel like I just uncovered some shit. Am
No,
I
it's just
correct on
that.
this? Like, why did y'all put Funky Drummer on Oodles of O's when it didn't need it? I love the way you used it, but it didn't need it. But yet you did it. Why?
Well, just like how you said, that was the mantra that Prince Paul made sure we, live by, which was it really worked. He said, yo, just try everything because if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Don't cancel out any idea. So at some point, Dave has already nailed. I mean, that was the first record that Dave led in production was Oodles of O's.
Right.
And it was just absolutely amazing. But then he was like, yo, I have these other ideas. Like he tried to add on, and it's not in there. One day I can let you hear it. Like the beginning of Oodles of O's, he started it all. He doing like Frankie Beverly going, I gotta make sure I'm right. We was like,
Huh?
what? Like, why would you do that? And he said, yo, I gotta try it. And then he tried it, but we was like, nah. And then I want to say Mace wanted to add in the funky drummer, so maybe it could be like if we dropped out the beat we already had, then that could be in there. And then mind you, I'm like, that's not gonna work. But then we tried it. It was like, all right, maybe you could use it at some point. But then luckily enough, it wound up just being something we used at the end. And like, cause it was almost more for the because we almost wanted to throw in the like
Right.
that. And so, yeah, it wound up being something like we had fun, like, yo, let's just let it ride at the end. But I mean,
See,
Mace,
I thought y'all were trying to make a grand statement. Like, I always admit, every time I hear that song, to me, my the way that my brain was thinking was like, oh, okay, I see what they're doing. They're like sweeping the old guys out. Like all you old rappers that used Funky Drummer, we're flushing you down the toilet, on the fade out. It just made no sense, but I was always obsessed with that shit. Okay.
nah. And then even with Mace did, he put together Afro Connections. And like, I just remember him playing that for us. And we was like, this is fucking amazing. Like, we was like, yo, this is the hardest shit ever. And like, it almost sounded like some shit people think Daylight shouldn't be rhyming on. And I was like, that's why we gotta rhyme on this. And like Dave immediately was like, yeah, we should do it like on some exploitation shit. Like, I don't know, some like, yeah, like Afro connections. And I was like, yo, whatever. Like anything Dave would say, like, all right, cool, let's try it. And so yeah, man, that was just wow.
So, like, Afro Connections was if we were like Hart Street niggas, like this is what we would sound like.
Yeah, it almost
Like
it almost
y'all like
us.
in your mind, you thought like NWA would rhyme to that.
Yeah, pretty much. So it was kind of like it was definitely like, yo, it was almost like through this idea, like through this idea that Dave came up with, it allowed us to be hard. Like, okay, we can like exercise. This is what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it allowed you to like play this out. So
Gotcha.
yeah, man, we had a lot of fun making that record.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with yes or no.
Mhm.
Will you ever tell air quote that story in air quote
Yeah, for the top of
the Oodles Afro story? For the first time ever?
Yeah, if you talking about what I think you're talking about.
You do that for me?
Yeah. I mean, shit, we grown now, and
Kelvin
yeah.
Mercer, can you please tell me about the story of Afroconnections at a high five? Oh my God, I
Well,
can't believe you're about to tell this story.
so the beginning of Afro Connections, where we say like this is dedicated to all those hardcore acts, the dudes who fell the fuck off.
Right.
That was us being upset and mad at Run DMC because Oodles of O's at the time when we was doing, working on our album, Oodles of O's actually was something that Dave put together for Run DMC because we were told by, we had the same management and we was told
Right.
by Russell and like, yo, like Russ, we want these guys, they need some music. And Dave was honored to try to put something together. And then from what we understood, um, D actually liked what Dave had did,
Mm-hmm.
but I think Run wasn't with it. Like it was just kind of like, who is these little niggas trying to do something for Run DMC?
D
That
is going on. D is going on the record saying how much of a fan he was of you guys. Like,
oh, I mean,
yeah.
B, trust me. And I'm not even trying to say that Run wasn't, but Run was
But
just
Run was Run back in the
Run was Run.
'90s.
Run
I
was
met
Run.
Run. I got this by Run. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Run was Run, and mind you, and I like I'll say like our first show ever, as I said when we did plug tuning at the Stetsasonic party, DMC was in the front row cheering.
Yes.
All we was there to do was that one song. We got off. We was like so nervous after getting off. We went in the bathroom to get our composure, and we did a great job. DMC followed us into the bathrooms, like, "Yo, get the fuck back on and do it again." That's so amazing. It's like he was just always such a cheerleader to us, and
Mm-hmm.
Jay was too. And like I said, anytime we met Run, he was really dope to us as well. But we knew Run was Run. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Run had that attitude, like no one is doper than me, and shit. We looked up to it. We wanted to be like running them in our mirrors as well. So
Right.
anyway, when I guess when Dave tried to give the beat to them, so that was the whole focus of Oodles of O's. The way we was the way Dave did the Oodles of O's. He saw it as like how DMC would have the echo. O's, no, da 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 da. He was trying to do it on some Run DMC shit. They didn't take it because Run dissed it, but like super dissed it. We wound up putting it on our album, which I was cool with. I was like, yo, this shit is dope anyway. We can do it for our joint. But and being mad and cryptic, we did the whole shit with connections.
Got it. Okay.
They got us back because I think they realized it, and through afros, they kind
What?
of yeah. Because on one of the Afro albums, Jay and them they did it. They did like some skit where I think they use a saying something like something, and then and it's like some guns going off. I'm
What?
I'm, I'm 100% sure that happened. Yeah.
I'd
Um,
never do that shit.
yeah, yeah. But I mean,
I.
we were just young. We loved Run DMC. We were just hurt that it's one thing to be like, you just don't want to use it. And it's
Right.
just how Run just kind of dissed us about it. And I'm sure
Right.
you run about it today and Run wouldn't even remember.
I don't know how to ask this next question, but one of the recurring themes that I always have on this podcast is that pioneers really just get the glory of saying that they did it first. But it's always the person that comes second that gets the glory from it, and the
Yeah.
pioneer never gets the credit. So, I mean, at one point, to me, it just felt like a running joke. But when you hear Dear Mama, or Ghetto Red Hot, or Mary J's Be Happy remix, or How I Could Just Kill a Man, or Funky Child, or Float On, what up, Pete? Or Crucial Conflicts, Hey in the Middle of the Barn, or Warren G's This DJ, or Portraits, Here We Go. Shit, yo. Distortion the Stag by the Roots. The Youngsters, doing your little ego trip, paper ripping verse, or even aerial codes for Ludacris. I joke, but I'm not joking. I think "Set Adrift" Memory Bliss is the greatest De La Soul song that y'all never made. It wasn't even till maybe 2 weeks into What They Do that someone was like, "Oh, you guys just did the De La video," and I was like, "No, oh God, we did do the." Never even like I'm dealing with the Biggie part of it, but I didn't even get to the De La part of it. You guys literally have done things first. It's almost like I listen to y'all to see what's going to be the next big hit or the. But at one point, did it just become like, yeah, of course, like to hear all of your ideas and musicality and samples get reused and they become like actual big gigantic hits for these artists that do it.
Nah, we just, I mean, basically from Ludacris doing the Area Codes record, we never felt like, oh man, he's trying to repurpose our idea and he got a hit from it. We never would look at things like that. We never would look at Mary doing her record and using, say, the Dollar Bill Y'all record the way we use it with the backwards 808 going. Vroom, vroom. We was
Right.
like humble by it because it's no different than how we took different things and used it from people we loved and we respected. And we just felt like, yo, it's a homage to them. So, nah, man, we never really thought of things like that at all. You know,
So one of the unsung stars or heroes of well, we already talked about it. Was LaShawn, aka Almond Joy, on Bitties. Not many. Every time someone's in my car and Bitties comes on, I have to tell them that Shoshana Marisol, like Shoshana is the girl from LL's doing it,
yeah.
and she had singles on and all this stuff. Like, how did you guys back when her name was Almond Joy? How did you across her?
I mean, Sean was just around us. She was hanging around us at that point. Her and Sammy B was messing around. I mean, her and Sammy B got
Oh, okay.
so I mean, she was just around. She would just be in the studio. So like her being
Was she
her
an MC, or she just had a really good voice and delivery?
nah, she was an MC. Like
Okay,
she was
because
really
that's also her on Mooney's. That's her voice. Where that at? That's her,
yeah,
right? Okay,
yeah.
okay.
She had a great voice. She could rhyme her ass off. We were already hearing stuff she was doing because she would just be in around the studio and letting us hear rhymes and whatever. So Sean was just in the studio, like just in the studio in Calliope. So once I came up with the idea and being like, yo, all right, Dave did his idea of biddies. He acted out where him and our friend Wade comes in, deal with the people who work behind the counter. I want to have more in an exchange between a girl, but the girl rhyming. And I
Right.
work, you know what I'm saying? I'll be the one working at Burger King. And so I was like, yo, immediately I was like, yo, LaShawn would kill this. She has the right voice. She can write some shit to roast me. And then when I told her the idea, she was like, I'm in. And when I start hearing her rhymes, I start getting scared. I'm like, oh shit, she's gonna kill me. So I started shit back. I was like, yo, you all right with this? She's like, yeah, I'm cool with that. She writes some
Oh
shit.
wait, you're both. Yeah, how does that work? I never interviewed a rapper MC as far as like I never understood how group structure worked. I've only known solo MCs. Here's my 16. So
Mhm.
how did that back and forth get constructed?
It was that exchange, it had to really be kind of like it couldn't be just me saying, look, LaShawn, I rhymed here. There's a space for you. I rhymed here. There's a space for you. Listen to everything I said and answer back. It was more like, nah, let me do this first. You started off. You say something, and we talked about it.
And you
Like,
respond to it, right? Right.
yeah. So we talked about how it should go. And then so then she had her parts. And I was like, yo, that's dope. Okay, so let me respond to it this way. And then she would now respond to what I say, like, or even if she had something she thought was cool, she would change a bar there to make it fit better with how I ended, how I responded. So we was like on the spot doing a lot.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. That was such a dope moment. How did Black Sheep get into the native tongue spear?
It was through Mike G. Whether it was, and it was the same with Moni and everyone else. There was never no audition. to have someone in. It was just someone saying like,
No
"Yo,"
order in the court. Like, okay, I'm gonna.
it was just really like, "Yo, I think this person could be dope." And it was never really no pushback. Um, so I remember Mike G come to the studio. He always called me Noose. Yo, Noose. Yo, it's these two dudes, man. We've been messing with. They called Black Sheep. And he explained who they are and da 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 da. And I had already saw long before Rolling with Red. He's like, yeah, yo, I'm telling you, they're gonna be really dope. We think about they could be a really dope fit for natives. Like they're different. And I was like, cool. It was like,
Got it.
what I'm saying? And I think it went for everyone else the same way.
Wait, you just said something that just. So wait a minute. On Jenny, you're not talking about rope. Noose is self-referential.
You mean?
She said, "Let's try it in the bathroom," but the noose was way above the sink. You were talking
Yeah,
about you
yeah,
as imposter. Oh
yeah.
God. Okay. I'm sorry, bro. I thought you was going to the real
But
dark.
the way above sync. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think I'm talking about, oh, I got a noose hanging? Oh, come on, B.
No,
Like,
I thought you was
ah,
some like I was like, yo, there's some dark sexual fetishism shit going
nah,
on with nooses and I was
nah.
like, for real, I was like, yo, is he talking about asphyxiation? Oh, pasta
Oh,
noose, not.
oh, okay, I'm talking about me. But the
I thought
noose,
she was saying, yo, let's try it in the bathroom and here's some rope and let me.
I'm above doing things in the bathroom and the sink. So, nah,
Oh God, I'm a dweeb. I'm sorry, man. Okay, why haven't the JBs appeared on uh 3 Feet or De La Soul's Dead? Besides, like, oh, wait a minute, they're on Buddy. What am I saying?
buddy, Mike
But I
G.
mean, after besides Fanatic of the Baseball, like,
Yeah.
did, did the Jungle Brothers just fade into the background, or
No, I mean, it was just always about I mean, especially by the time we got to Balloon, it was really, really about, who is the right instrument vocally for a record? Like
got you?
Dave felt like, yo, man, I feel like Shorty should be on a record. I said, on the record? He said, no, like the entire record, like her voice, like if it's just an
Hmm.
ad lib. She's like, yo, that's dope, cool. So yeah, I mean, like it was the same with Jungle. If it was just nothing that we were working on that presented itself where, yo, let's get them on this, we just didn't do it. Same with Tribe, like because I don't really what Tribe ain't on that record. Maybe they were on a remix where when I had Q-Tip saying "Dig the Sounds" coming from Plug One on the Break of Dawn remix,
Right.
and then it just seemed like Black Sheep just worked out. They was just always around. But mind you, the crazy thing is like Africa then was in the studio. They would be around every now and then, and I
Got
remember
you.
playing for them, but it just wasn't the right record that
Does the producer of the song for who the session's for is the person that initiates? You should get on this. You should get on this.
nah,
Or
it could
have
just
people
be
been like, "Yo, I want to be on this," and
that kind of came a little bit later, but definitely was about us saying who should get on something or, even tip like, yo, Merce, I want you to try something on this scenario record. And I'm like, after I done heard it already put together, and I'm like, wow, really? Like this shit is done. It's like it is what it is. And then he tried me on something else that he wanted me and Lord Finesse on, called Bust How I Ain't Trying to Hear That. So I think it's called I Ain't Trying to Hear That. And I was like, cool, let me try something of that. So it was just really that. But yeah, we would get to a point where like in each other's sessions and hearing stuff, like because when Tip did Mr. Muhammad, Africa was really making him uncomfortable because he's like, yo, this should be like the native record. This should be like and this is this idea we had called the hoods. We should
right.
do this record. And Tip was like, nah, like I want this to be for Ali. I want this to be called Mr. Muhammad.
Got you.
So yeah, like,
I Okay, I've been dying to ask this question. How challenging was it to craft the final verse of Millie pulled a pistol on Santa? Because the way that you navigate such a heavy themed song, which is about a daughter defending herself against an abusive father,
Mhm.
um, and you still have to maintain suspense. Um, you also have to bring empathy to the situation, um, and this for me that verse is remarkable because this was done at a time in which rappers really weren't granting like women agency.
Mhm.
Uh, and really for me, like each line, the way each line was crafted, and the thing is one, you're saying it in a rhythmic way in which the words have to fit.
Yeah.
And to me, the most crucial line of that is your last three lines, which is, Dylan pleaded mercy, said it didn't mean to do all the things that her mind could do nothing but cling to, which is such a word salad.
Mhm.
But that line gives you empathy for her in a way where it's just not like it could have easily been like, yo, I know this girl around the way, and then she shot him dead. It could have been like Fast Peg by LL Cool J. You know what I mean? Like she shot him in the head. That's the breaks. Like next song, dude. I'm saying, like Fast Peg by LL Cool J was like a minute and 19 seconds. Pretty much just could have been the same narrative, but it wound up just being more like an intense sketch. But to me, that's what I think about when I think about the beauty of hip hop storytelling. You have a very short period to paint this picture of the song to make it work. What was the genesis of that song?
Well, it's like you said, the rhyme. Okay, so not to make this super long. Title was gained from us being going into the city, saw this homeless guy. He had a dirty Santa Claus outfit on in the subway station. First words that came to my mind was Millie pulled a pistol on Santa. Don't know why, but he did.
Right.
And he was walking next to me. I was like, yo, man, that'd be a dope title. Because at that point, we were just into this writing even down titles and then matching the right lyrics or story to the title. So I immediately pulled out the little pad I had in my pocket, wrote the title down. Paul, several weeks later, gave us this cassette tape of just different beats he's working on for us.
Mm-hmm.
And heard the music I'll Stay by what was that, Funkadelic?
Funkadelic, yeah.
I was like, Dave, this is Millie Pull the Pistol on Santa. Just how weeping this sounds. This
Mm-hmm.
is it. It was like, got you. Then I married it to someone I was very close to, was being molested by her father in
Mm-hmm.
real time, got everything, and then start crafting everything from there. So, I mean, the story was literally happening to someone that was very close to me in real time. This is how I felt about her fucked up father. And I was writing all this. So, yeah, it was like, and as you eloquently explain in terms of how a writer is supposed to put the suspense and I didn't have any idea about that. Outside of loving to read and whatever, I just thought like, okay, this is how I gotta write this story. And Dave loved what I was doing so much. He was like, Merce, write the whole thing. He, he was like, because what you showed me that for your first verse, he was just being honest. He's like, I don't know how
We'll pick it up.
so he was like, just for it to be just solid, you write the entire thing and assign to me what you want me to say.
Damn.
Cool. And so that's what I did. I just kept going, kept going. But I knew I wanted it to end abruptly, like how a shot will abruptly end your life.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to fill in from the beginning to end. And like you said, it was a challenge to make sure that once I was staying in this rhyme style, this cadence, my thoughts of how I wanted it to go, I had to find the right words for the cadence.
Dude, I have so many great ideas for shit, but I just because of my word salad brain, I don't know how to succinctly. Tariq's original AI, like he knows how to
Yeah, yeah.
whittle words down to make it fit rhythmically and all that, and I just never knew.
Down to like it's funny. I know I want to say y'all did it. Like y'all did the song over. And
Yeah,
I remember when it got to this one part where I never fixed it because when I say like complete, it was supposed to be like complete with an accent. But I say it so weird, complete with add accent. It sounds like I'm saying complete with add
right.
accent. And
Yeah.
I'm really saying an accent. But I had to do it in the style. I know like people was like, what the hell is he saying?
What is the Renee King story?
Renee King, she, and I mean, bless her heart, I couldn't tell you exactly what she did in the music industry, but we knew her from like if we were at like a seminar,
Mm-hmm.
she would be there doing whatever she would, a music seminar, she was there. Or we would come to Philly at whatever shows, she was there. So we knew she was a part of the industry.
Right.
But you know, I mean, just point blank, she seemed like a really nice but little eccentric woman,
Yeah.
and um, she was trying to holler.
Word.
So I was just trying to like, nah, I'm young, I'm like 18, 19, and she seemed like she was probably like in her 30s. I was like, nah, I think so. And my
Okay,
thought,
sounds up.
she was definitely like an older woman, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I can hear.
So I was just like, nah, I don't necessarily want to do that. Some other things in Philly I'm looking at,
Right, right.
for my but she was really cool, really nice. But yeah, I mean, I just thought like in her saying what she said on her thing to me, like if she's trying to get at me, and it's for the music business, because it's kind of like I think she got to feel like I think she's trying to holler,
Right.
and I'm going to use this for ring, ring, ring. I'm gonna get you with this, and then that's why I put it in front of
And
her.
she
She
was fine with you guys putting her phone number and
loved it. She kept the same phone number, everything. I remember she did an interview and she loved it.
by 91 were you guys already over the idea of De La Soul, the idea of native tongues, like whereas like you guys are supposed to be like 16 kids hanging out in boho clothing and head wraps and incense and whatever.
I
Were
wouldn't
you
say we.
tired of the idea of the boho ness of what we thought as your fan base thought native tongues was?
Well, we in we as De La could have felt it a bit because if you realize that's why we ditched everything from 3 feet. That's what De La Soul Dead was all about, like ditching this outer shell that everyone's paying attention to. So let alone the outer shell of natives the same way. And Q-Tip, Ali and all them, they was especially Fife, they was all doing the same thing. Like, all right, okay, I had enough of looking like this on this cover. Like I'm putting on this baseball hat because this is what I really wear when I'm in St. Albans or I'm
Right.
walking around Queens. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, I'm sure like it just kind of like became more of like, yo, we got these dope ass rhymes, we got these banging ass beats, and they're super creative. It was almost like that was more the mantra, like
Gotcha.
nigga, fuck with us when it really comes to that, being super creative and we can rhyme. We didn't want people to just focus on the imagery.
Normally, when you guys rhyme, I I still feel like I know what you're saying because I can pick up like every seventh word.
Mhm.
But within focus, I understood absolutely everything you spoke of, even to the funkadelic knee deep reference of me, myself, and I sort of being in the sunset, and now this is where my life is. So, can you explain just the whole idea of in focus? Like, was there really a period where it just felt like the plane was landing and now the dream was over? And now, and I'm not saying that it's a cynical album, because the thing is that I think maybe this year in listening to like the reissue, the one thing I never said was like, oh, as much as I talk about 3 Feet and De La Soul is Dead, like really the album that gave birth to the Roots was Bloom Mind State, simply because of the musical directions that you guys took. But when I heard In Focus, that actually made me depressed. Which it's an upbeat song. Well, not an upbeat song. It still sounds like a hip hop joint. But when that was the first time where I was like, oh, all might not be well in Amityville land or wherever I thought the idea of De La Soul being. Like, talk about just the creation of In Focus and the cynicism behind it.
Um, with my brain at this mo point, I don't recall who came up with In Focus. It sounds like something Dave would do. Um, I came up with the music,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, it sound In Focus as a theme, definitely Dave, and definitely Dave was at that point because even we had the running joke even at that point, like, yo, where's Dave? Oh, he's somewhere in Haiti in a tree. Like Dave was already just
He was
really
over it.
tired with the fame aspect of it, tired of it, and just what it took to keep it going. Like, let's and
Is this
yo,
why he cut his hair? Is this why he?
all that, like just trying different things and crazy enough, before Dave passed, several interviews we were doing leading up to the catalog, he really talked in depth about it, which was just very eye-opening for me because I didn't know he was feeling like that for that album. Like Dave was just revealing like he was just really not in a great place with himself and understanding himself and where he was going and how he should be evolving as a father, as all these things during Balloon Mind State. So Dave really was, it's almost like he made it sound like, and in hindsight looking back, I get it. Like he was almost like in airplane mode. Like he was just like, okay, I'm gonna listen to the mantra of Paul that if this is what Pos thinks is dope to try, or Pos want to do this thing called Patty Duke, Pos think, yo, Merce, you write the rhyme, because I don't think I can really nail it. But that was his way of just saying he didn't really like it. And that's why, not to skip out of your question, but then that's why when he checked back in for Stakes is High, he came back with a vengeance. So yeah, during that period, In Focus is definitely Dave. Like he's tired of this shit. Like he's tired of this light being on him. If I want to do some dirt, niggas looking. If I want to chill, niggas looking. If I just want to rest with my daughter, niggas looking. Like that really, I felt like that's what Dave felt.
How did you guys discover Shadara Par and Tagaji Khan, the two Japanese MCs on Long Island Wilden?
Well, it started from Khan was already down with Red Alert, like so the prop master stuff. We almost found out about Khan through Red Alert before we even went to Japan. And so by
Okay.
the time we went to Japan and this meet Khan, he introduced us to his homeboys SDP. And then they were just, and we were actually then on shows together. And so we were just really cool. They really was very like pretty much in awe of what we was doing and loved what we were doing. And we actually felt the same about them. Like we was like, yo, these three dudes is like, to us, they felt like the Japanese Beastie Boys. Like they were just really creative, and we just saw a similar kinship musically, where like the barrier of not understanding them and them not understanding us, probably every word, but we felt a connection to the music. So we was like, why when we came up with that skit, Long Island Wildin', and it only came from, I had this, the beat was just the beat, but I had this tape of Mantronics performing at the Red Parrot.
Mm-hmm.
And Tricky T, who rhymed, of course, in Mantronics, he was just like, and I'm out in Long Island right now, because Long Island be wilding like that, but that's where I'm staying at, Long Island. And I was like, yo, it'd be dope to put this in this beat. And then, of course, us just take it just elsewhere. It was like, and we don't even rhyme on it. Let's let SDP and Khan rhyme on this shit because they ain't from Long Island. They're from Japan. And it
Right,
makes
right.
no fucking sense. We thought that was be like, wow, all right, let's do that. And then that's what we did.
On IMIB, how many side characters did you guys get to loop? And did they have to loop the entire 5 minute duration of that song of whatever they were?
The
I
all the
am da da da. I beat 411. I am da da da. I beat. Did they do that in the entire?
all those vocals mainly consisted of stuff I got use my DAT machine. I would walk around my DAT and just get people to say it. So at that point, we were hanging out a lot at Dell State, Delaware State. Our friend Wade, who's Boss Hog, who Dave is, he's on the ad libs, and Dave is
Yeah, I
talking
know
about.
Boss Hog.
So
Yeah.
he went to Dell State. So we
Okay.
would always hang out there. And so all the friends we made there, I had them like, yo, I'm making a song called IMIB. I need you to say, I am your name, I be whatever. And then so I will get them. But then, of course, Shorty, who was already at this point going to be on the entire album, we wanted Shorty to just keep Shorty, I be 411. I was like, just keep as long as you can possibly say it. And then of course, like people like Busta and Q-Tip and them as well. We recorded them right in Battery. And God bless the dead, crazy enough, Bob, of course, helped us put all that together. And this is before the simple age of what we have now. Like you make a voice note, you
Hmm.
slip place. It wasn't just as simple. It was like really kind of already figuring out, okay, Bob, I want this to go first. I want to hear this say this person, but I wanted to kind of start building up. And he's like, and so he technically is trying to figure out how to do that. And then also I could change. I can be like, because when Tip says, I am Q-Tip, I be friction. I was like, yo, that's amazing. Let's put Tip, let's move whoever was in the way, put Tip saying that,
Right.
echo. So it was tedious. Like probably doing the rhymes to that was easier than putting all those vocals in. That
It,
took like
I
4 days.
almost wondered it. Well, I was wondering, did you leave gaps in the rhyme just to the ad libs coming?
Now, no, we just figured out like, you know what? This feels good. I knew, okay, like right where I end my rhyme, I wanted someone to say something. I think, okay, I got one left over from Chris Lighty. Baby Chris, you say this. Like, yeah, man, it was just trying to fill it up as much as possible.
Got it. Uh, did the JBs ever respond to your verse in IMIB?
No, I played it for them before the song, before the album came out. I went to them and played it. I sat, I remember I was in a car with Long and them. I was like, yo, I played it for them. I played it for Q-Tip. I played it for them. It wasn't like they heard it for the first time when it was math, and it was me because our relationship was in a weird space. We were always refining fame, and I kind of really took it to heart because I looked at them as my two brothers. Like I was hanging with those two dudes, Q-Tip and Africa, at one point more than I was hanging with, Dave and Mace.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was home and we weren't doing De La stuff, I was at Africa's house, in his house, staying at his house. His mother's cooking for us, or I would be at Tip's house, and we were like together. So it just seemed like we was falling apart from each other, and that was just me being in my feelings and wrote that. Where in hindsight, it was just really should have been more of a talk with each other about what was going on with each other. But I went to them in hopes of showing them this in my way of just trying to fix our relationship, where it seemed like we weren't all hanging with each other.
Got it.
And Tippett spoke about it, like he understood it then, but it just that once that it came out, it was just kind of like a band-aid that's kept getting ripped and ripped and ripped. And I think like it caused some animosity maybe at some point
Mm-hmm.
and whoever else.
All right. Stakes is high. The intro. Who just happened to be battling another MC when they hear Criminal Minded for the first time? Like, I'd never ever believe that line as long as I hear. Like,
Most,
battling another MC. That had to have been most.
oh boy, I love that boy, man. Most Yassine Bey. Wow.
Yeah.
I will say it forever and ever. He was the battery of all those sessions. Once he came around, he was there every day. And he was like the cheerleader, the battery, the inspiration.
How did you guys meet him?
through Mace. Um, Mace was doing something, DJing at some spot, and most actually was the particular spot it was. Most was like doing some type of poetry hosting there, and I think from there is how they linked. And Mace every now and then would be like, "Yo, this kid, he's dope," and blah 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 blah. I was like, cool, come by the studio one day. Mind you, I'm already seeing this Dante Smith guy. But yeah, I mean, once Mace brought Most through, told had Most come through, he was like there every day.
So when you get to Stakes reissues, can you please include the original Dave intro where he's word jumbling
Oh,
and
that's funny.
the intro song, the intro.
Yeah, because it's the anniversary coming up in a few months, and we're dealing with right now what we're going to put on it. So that's hilarious.
Dog, please, like I don't know why y'all edited that, but for me,
Oh,
just
it's just too long. It's just too long. That's fine.
no, it was genius because you're literally inside the head of Dave as he's trying to figure out the right cadence. But I don't know, I always thought that was brilliant. By that point, you know, '96 was upon us. We were getting it too. Critics started sort of labeled the perspective as somewhat elitist, or they invented a new term called player hating or whatever. But when you compare it to what we're dealing with now, looking back 30 years ago in 1996, do you find it surprising how hip hop has evolved or devolved?
For the most part, Amir, I'm a positive dude, believe it or not. Because I know a lot of times when I look at, sometimes I say this to myself when I write, I can write things out of like a warning label, like, be careful, y'all. This is about to happen. But I do feel that even now, there's amazing music out. It's just the problem is you just got to find it. It's not easy to find. And I think with our minds, you know, someone to be like, you know what, I only know how to look on this particular site opposed to go to that site, and that site is its own world. And so I think it's harder to find stuff. And so when you talk about at one point when mainstream music could have more positivity, like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, KRS-One with this super great hit, but he's KRS-One, or Tribe got this beautiful, amazing record in their pop. Yeah, I mean, that's a little hard to come by these days. And Stakes is High originally for me was about life. So even Dave was like always really a little bit more about the industry. Like, yo, this industry is some bullshit. And yo, I don't know where we stand in the industry. And I was like, I was reading a lot of, quite honestly, like a Hebrew Israelite books and different
Mm-hmm.
types of. I was like, yo, I don't know where life is at. Like life is a little crazy. So I
Word,
think,
you about to go to Penn Station with the crate?
yeah, yo, I was in.
What?
I used to get my books. I used to get. I was really deep. I was really deep. Honestly, I was a part of the New Wapian Nation. My name was Facord. I knew Dr. York. I would go down to the land. Yeah. If you look at Break of Dawn, like even in on in th on Balloon Mind State times, like even the video Break of Dawn, I got the patches on my shirt. So I was heavily
How did
endowed.
I miss that?
I was heavily.
Damn,
Um.
son.
So,
Were you
so
in the
yeah.
next Lifetime video with Erica too? And I didn't know it.
So I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I was just really on some like, yeah, life is lifing, as they would say these days, and we really need to look at what we're doing. And we meant it in a really good way. We didn't want to turn around and say anything mean and then get into some issue with someone, but we was willing to if it had to be because we just really was saying it out of love. And as you said, when you look at where a lot of music is today, and funny enough, a lot of MCs back then who felt differently, they feel the same now. And they'll come to us and be like, yo, like kind of like how
Y'all
you
was
said.
right.
So,
Uh, why did you guys waste that nonstop beat? Like
hey,
that shit could have went far for y'all. And I get angry every time it comes up, and I'm always like, I know there's a corresponding song that goes with that thing because
Oh, it was just a banging ass beat Dave made, and he wanted to use it to talk over. And crazy enough, yo, man, which is the beauty of it all. Like, I didn't give him any, I didn't really beat him in the head about it. I didn't even be like, yo, like, oh, sorry.
ah, dog.
Yeah, I didn't look at it like, yo, we should rhyme on this. Nah, it was just like, oh, this is dope. And now you want to do this over it and fade up and fade down. You know, it really was like that. I mean, there's a lot of songs like that. I mean, It's So Easy was like that. I didn't, that's why it became his solo thing. I didn't see it as something to rhyme over. I didn't
Were
see it.
you supposed to have a verse on "It's So Easy"?
No, because originally It's So Easy, I made that for Naughty by Nature. That was for them.
Oh shit,
Um, yeah, there because when we were finishing up Stakes is High,
that could have worked.
well, we were finishing up Stakes is High. Audrey Lacatus, who's working at Tommy Boy, was like, look, man, we're working, Naughty just got started on their album, but we've already identified a few songs that could be singles, and we want to get ahead of the game and get remixes going. I was like, yo, that's so smart of y'all. Wow, that's a great idea. And when they played for me, Feel Me Flow,
Dun, dun.
so that was for that. Yeah, I put that together. But when in doing it, I was like, after hearing it, I matched Tretch vocals and to it, I was like, nah, this ain't gonna work because their version was so already clean and crispy and just like so dope. I just felt like as a remix, it was a step below it in how the music felt. It almost felt like what I made could have been the original. And then you go
That would
forward
have been the remix.
at that time. You know what I'm saying? So I
Ah,
felt like, nah, this ain't a good remix, and I got to maybe try to find something else. And then from there, it would have just went in a pile of junk. I just from that point, I liked what I did, and then I was like, me and Renee from Jeanne, we were hanging around each other a lot at that point because
uh-huh.
on the album we just kind of would just be around each other all the time. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm gonna see if Renee want to use it for something for Jeanne. Dave just happened to call me, checking in, and I was like, yeah, man, I just tried something for this naughty thing. It didn't work. He said, yo, let me hear it. And I let him hear it. And then he just pretty much hit me with like, you big dummy, are you crazy? This is fucking amazing. What? We should do this. And I was like, really? I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it all. I mean, mind you, even at that point, I was already doing something with Mos and his crew, Medina Green. It even could have been like I could have gave it to them. And Dave was like, "Fuck that." He said, "Matter of fact, Merce, I don't even have a solo joint for this. That's my solo joint." I said, "All right," because I
Ah.
couldn't hear myself on it. I didn't hear myself when he was like, "We should do it." I was like, "Really?" I didn't even hear it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Common's cosign was very crucial for his career development. What was about him that told you guys like, let's embrace him?
We had met. Okay, obviously, as you said, from the first album, his first album, saw him, cool. We meet him even from that point a few times. We would run into him, like say at that um, when Howard would have that rap. I don't even remember the name of it. What was it called? Howard University. They would have like a rap conference. So we were running to Common there, whatever. Mace was the one who kept saying, "Yo, we need to put Common on this album," and we would be like, "All right, if we find something," but it wasn't really anything that was sparking me about it. And Mace just kept saying, like, yo, man, Common should be on this album. I, at some point, got um, an early copy of Resurrection, the album. And when I got to Communism, I was like, I called Mace, like, yo, yeah, this nigga need to be on the album. And
Yes.
then had that kind of he had that tone like, all right, nigga, what convinced you? I was like, yo, I'm listening to this nigga's new album. Yo, this, yeah, yeah, all right. Yeah, he needs to be on he needs to be on the album. He needs to be on the album. Dave was trying to do a bunch of shit for Biz. He was trying to like, yo, I'm telling you, I think I got a bunch of shit that could be dope for Biz. And if Biz just let me write the rhyme. So Dave had this one joint that was really dope. And then he had what was going to become the business. He was like, yo, this will be for Biz. And he like, he
Uh,
how Biz kept fucking around and not coming to the studio. Like Dave was doing a lot of stuff in his own house. He had a bunch of ADATs and we would record stuff. They built a vocal booth. And so we would do a lot of stuff at his crib. And Biz would be like, yeah, Dave, I'll be there, I'll be there. And he would never come. So
mm.
he was like, yo, man, fuck it. This beat, let's do it. Let us do it. And we're gonna just fuck with Biz and call it the business. And so I was like, yo, maybe this could be the joint we put comment on. This is some rhyme friendly shit. And that's exactly what we did. Yeah.
I see. All right. And also, four more should have been a single, man.
I agree. But what we were told is that it felt too adult. It felt too like Harper adultish from Tommy. Yes. Yes. Yes, we were.
So you're one of the rare artists that has an arsenal of Dilla tracks that you've rhymed over that were
Hmm.
given to you specifically. And I think just because of the intricacy of it, most people would assume, oh, Stakes Aside must be everyone's favorite Dilla track. But that's not the case with me. What is your favorite Dilla track that you've rhymed over?
Stakes is up there. Now it got to be a daylight record or any record. I just want to make sure
Well,
it's
I
up
mean, no,
there.
no, no. Just for, yes, Daylight, like that you rhymed over it. Like, there's,
I would honestly, I would say,
see, Verbal Clap to me, just like, the one time I almost got in a car accident, literally, I couldn't drive straight because I was just so jealous of that goddamn intro.
yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. Verbal clap. Verbal clap. Yo, I mean, I just remember him letting us hear it. When I heard that record, I was like, this shit is absolutely insane. It was right and it was right where we were at that point making that album. Like, we were just like, yo, this got to be more of like a beats and rhymes. We felt like that's what it needed to be. And that's what that particular song showed. I mean, it just made you want to just write to it. And
Right.
yeah, I mean, even down to the fact of the version that he did when we asked at this point Jay to send us, okay, send us, the track so we can now
Put,
track it.
yeah.
It was something that he had already left on whatever system he had in Detroit. He didn't know where it was.
That's y'all just rhyming over the B tape?
Yeah. And mind you, I went to LA to get up with him. He remade it. So even to see him do that was crazy. He remade it to even see where the was actually like some beautiful, lovely guitar going bling, 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 bling. And he garage band the sound. And I was
So
like,
he did some MacGyver shit where it was just, because
yeah,
I see him at setup in his kitchen.
yo, I mean, like, I was just flawed. I was just like, I was floored. I was just floored by how he re-put this shit together. He just remade it. And then, but even in remaking it, it was just missing something that the original didn't have. And I took it back to LA. I took it back from LA back to the to New York. We put the rhymes to it. We synced everything up. And we was just still like, and it just wound up being like, nah, man, the two track is better. Let's just do it to the two track. And he was with it. He was like, nah, I hear you. So we
So
just did it.
there's a version of the song done to the clean, redone version.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all gotta find that shit, man. For peer pressure,
Uh-huh.
whose idea was it to slow the song down, like even more than what it was, to give you the impression that you're on weed?
That was JD. JD did it. And he didn't even know the idea. It was already like that.
Oh, really?
Yep. Which is
It's
crazy.
so blatant though, because it just gets slower.
Yep.
Like the first time I heard it, I, like I during that period, I'll say that 80% of my listening was always like driving in my car. I just got my license in 2004, so like I would just drive forever. And even I was like, yo, like, is it me or is this shit slowing down? Okay. And he didn't
Yep.
know that that's what you were doing it for.
Nope. He had already given me the beat. I thought the beat was dope, but then it worked with the idea that me, Mace, and Be Real that came up with. Like B Real, we was at some radio function,
Hmm.
some show function that a radio station put on, and Mace, I could see Mace out the side of his eye saying something to Be Real because they had just rolled up and he was like, Mercer, you want some? I was like, and they laugh and he was like, "Come on, the pressure, man, the pressure. Come on."
Right.
And I immediately came up with the idea right there. I was like, "Yo, that'd be a dope song. Y'all trying to make me smoke weed." And so you can win it. So when Jay sent us that beat, I was like, "It's this record," because on its own, it was doing that slow and then kind of sped up thing.
Right. Right.
No, yeah.
Merce, do you remember when Prince kicked you out your own session?
Yes, I remember. Oh boy, I remember that.
And I don't remember, and I don't mean Prince Paul either.
Because I walked into it. You were already thick in it. I walked into and I'm so sorry, I don't remember the name, her
Electric
name.
Lady,
Yeah, I'm saying, but the young lady who ran the
Mary,
show.
Mary. Yes.
So when I walked in, she was apologizing. I'm so sorry, Pops. I'm like, you sorry for what? I just walked in. What happened? And she's like, it's your session. I said, oh, I'm just thinking like, maybe someone ran over. And she's like, no, it's because he's here. And then I see you, and then you're saying the same thing. And you're like, because the royalty dude, this guy is here. I'm like, what are you talking about? And yeah, and then it's because Prince took over all the rooms and playing music for Warner Brothers. He's about to get I guess, work out a deal with them again and whatever. And I was
Right.
like, this is
Yeah,
what?
where I only saw the back of Clive Davis. No, it was actually for Sony. He
Okay.
walked in with Clive Davis. Both times I saw them walk in and walked out, but it was always to their back to us. And they knew they were taking our room over, and they didn't say anything.
Yeah, that was crazy. And so when he finally sees me at one point,
Yeah.
he's very apologetic, but I gave him the hardest squeezed hand, like Eric B squeeze. I was like, yo, like, nigga.
I think to give everyone context, there was half a second where you guys couldn't clear "Ode to Billy Joe's" drum break from Lou Donaldson. This you picked the day in which we had just mastered and sequenced Voodoo. Like 4 years of work was done, but yet we had the room locked out. And during the daytime, D would always let me use the room while he was like working out or whatever. So um, we I know in one room we were sequencing the record and for Voodoo, and in the other room trying to do the session, and we got kicked out. So I guess you were the first person to hear Voodoo not in the circle. I remember you were the very first person to hear it,
Sir.
and I was nervous listening to that record, like from start to finish, at the end of it.
I
All
was
right,
blown.
so in closing, what three non-hip hop albums do you listen to from front to back?
Non-hip hop. I mean,
The three most perfect records that you put on. There's no skips.
wow. Key of Life.
Okay,
Um,
Stevie Wonder.
yeah. What else? Front to back? Non-hip hop. It's like it's gonna be all over.
The guy that invented the 24 track single album, I figured.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that it's all. Well, wow. Voodoo.
Oh, cool.
Right. Voodoo front to back. Um, Al Green's what's the name? What's wrong with me right now? It's not Let's Stay Together front to back.
Okay.
Yeah. It remind me of I mean amazing record, of course, but Just remind me of my father.
Of your mother? Okay.
Well, my
Uh,
father, his ass off like Al Green.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when I was young, I thought my father was Al Green because when I was young, he would sing it as his playing. So I was like, he sounds like him and he looks
Oh, that
like him.
must be him. Okay. What are the three hip hop records that you live for?
Three hip hop records that I live for. Wow. Raising Hell by Run DMC. Oh, I love this fucking record. Criminal Minded. And what else? It's definitely, I mean, it's those two at the top. And wow, I'm bugging. A Nation of Millions. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
What three hip hop songs have you committed to memory?
Three hip hop songs I've committed to memory.
Your three favorite.
I'm just trying to tell you that that's hard for me. Funny enough, I had this talk with Thought with Reek about this. Like, I was never a dude who could it's really hard for me to do that. Music, I can tell you where the drops is, where the hi-hat is. It's hard for me to commit lyrics.
Really?
So very hard. It like I have to force myself.
You're the king of lyrics.
It's very hard for me to commit lyrics to memory of other artists of songs. So like it got to be something super easy. So like it's like Eric B for President. It's like Top Billin'.
Right.
Like those songs. It's like
Right.
he I can remember it easy because like Coogee Rap. As much as I love him, I'll die if you put a gun to my head and tell me this verse.
Sing it right now. I get it. What are your three favorite Dilla records?
What? Millie immediately. Millie pulled a pistol on Santa. I am I be trying people.
Two. Trying people.
Yeah.
To me, man, that's I hate when I heard it. I was like, "Yo, De La has a lighter song." Like I was like, when they do this in concert, they have to. I was so jealous that you found that song, man. Like I just I listen to that shit like
My,
10 times, man.
my younger brother, he made that record with his homie.
Lucky.
Luck made that with his homie Perp. And yeah, man, when I heard it, I was like, I live for records like that. That it just felt like something I had to pour my heart out.
Who sparked it first, you or Dave?
We was doing it pretty much at the same time, but he got on first. He wanted to go first. And even when I heard his verse, it just made me like, oh my God, this is amazing. And my verse was a lot longer. Where I end on record, it's
Hmm.
actually long. It's probably like another 14 bars. I then had to shorten it because I was like, yo, this is gonna have people crying. So I shortened it and ended it where I ended it. Yeah.
Okay. Um, what's the last nice thing that you've done for yourself?
Last nice thing that I have done for myself. Don't know.
Are you a car person? Do you collect artwork? Are you?
I don't know. I don't know shit about cars, so I don't care about
Do
cars.
you drive?
Yeah, I can drive. I
Okay.
drive, but I don't care
Do you have
about
a
cars.
Do you have a self care routine? Like especially now that we're of this age where.
Just truly in tune to taking care of myself. Things that I've already knew, I've through the years started to put them more into practice. A lot of the young living that we did on tour, like the super staying up late, eating after a show, and going right to bed, stuff like that, been stopped for me. But just putting more of it into practice, losing Dave, even when this Dave was still here and had his health issues and Mace could have his health issues. And yo, I was just realizing like, yo, man, I just need to be here for my younger kids. And I just start putting just a lot of that into practice. Like I cut all processed foods. I just eat tons of fruit. I eat no type of candy, no breads, unless it's like sourdough. Like, so I've just really been in the gym, stuff like that. So I've just really been on my Just taking care of myself. Yeah.
How hard was it picking up the pieces for you and Mace to sort of carry this vision through, um, especially in this phase of your life,
Yeah.
making the cabin to the sky and seeing it through? Just talk about the process of, because even me, I'm on year 11 of dragging my feet through this record. Like it's there, but there's a fear where you know all parts aren't in place, and now I have to see it through. So how did you get through it?
I mean, and I'm not really trying to sound like I don't know, corny and uplifting, but Dave really was there through it. Like I
Okay.
felt it through it. I felt signs from him. I mean, I may have spoken to you about this, like even down to the album title. And once I saw the title, and I'm like, this should be the title, and it's speaking to me, and I'm trying to load it into my phone, like all the newer Dilla Untitled songs, and it would no longer go into my phone. By the time I changed it to Cabin in the Sky, it goes into my phone. Like I just felt like Dave was there with me through it. And just how we've just normally done with De La albums, like just the sequencing, and it just felt right. We had some other great songs, but I was like, you know what? This song I got from Soundtrack, it's amazing, but it's not fitting in with everything else. So got to put that to the side. Or this other song that had Dave on it that we have called Take One for the Team. Could be another great moment to have Dave on the album, but nah, this doesn't work with where it was going. So I just kind of let the compass of natural things lead me to where I need to go. And just my experience of just putting together records, and it came together, especially once I got the title. Once I knew it was going to be called Cabin in the Sky, everything just kind of just fell into place. And it didn't feel hard. It really didn't. It felt light, man, and it felt therapeutic. So it didn't really feel hard to do. You know.
All right, my last two questions. Bob Power. Can you just talk about like what his contributions were to the group and how what was it like working with him?
Bob Power was one of the most amazing human beings I've ever met in this industry, ever. So, I mean, like to have him being the one who has all this knowledge on sound and helping you to reach this goal, or even see something that and hear something that you didn't even realize your music could sound like. I mean, what I loved about him from the very beginning is that he was a person that he didn't treat us like we weren't supposed to be there. Because like a lot of these early sessions, you had these engineers who were like, they were rock dudes and punk rock guys. And, they have these young black kids coming in here who got these deals now and
Right.
trying to tell them what to do.
They don't
And
play guitar.
yeah, and Bob, even from Calliope Days, was very open, like, wow, what is that? And how, so what was your thinking on that? But then he could show you his thinking on something else. So that's why he just became one of those engineers where you wanted him around. You for that reason alone.
Is there a particular song or mix that he transformed for you that you yourself didn't see when it was in the rough stages? Like, what in my mind do you want more of? Would have been was nowhere near. Like once I heard a mix, I was like, holy shit! Like this is a whole new. Like
Tons
was
of
it
records.
like
But Break of Dawn is definitely one of them. Just how I thought it would sonically sound and what and how he made, because he was like, tracking it with us. Crazy enough, Bob is the one who pretty much named me Plug Wonder. Why? Wonder Why comes from him, because when we was doing Break of Dawn, I'm just saying Plug Wonder, wonder why you're lonely tonight. So once he heard me say it, he just would always just keep saying Plug Wonder, wonder why you're lonely tonight. And so I would come in, Plug Wonder Why, what's up? And I was like, it would just become something we would laugh at. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna add that to my mini monikers. Like, I am Plug Wonder Why because of Bob. Yeah. I mean, this is amazing, amazing and beautiful person, as you know.
all right? My last question: do you have three favorite Dave moments on Day Live recordings?
Yes. But Dave doing the Johnny's Dead was absolutely hilarious. In real time, just me, I can still see him doing it. We're trying so bad not to laugh because we don't want the mic to pick it up because he wasn't in the booth. This is the mic in the room of Calliope.
Right.
And and even threw a piece of paper and I hit him my mistake. So that's when you say, "You're fucking us up, man." Like,
Oh,
and we laughing, like, so that was just one of the most funniest things, Dave doing that Johnny's dad. Wow, what else? This is just it's holy shit, there's so many. Um, what else? Why am I going blank right now? Funny Dave. Dave, him doing the stupid, well, he was on my answering machine, and that's when I had to call him back and was like, yo, you know this is gonna go on the album, right? And he
oh, Dave has a problem. Seriously.
was, hello, hello, yeah, I was like, when I came home and heard that message, I laughed so hard. And when I called him, he already knew what I was calling for. He's already laughing. I was like, yo, I was like, you an asshole. And I was like, and you know that's going on the album. He said, get out of here. I was like, yo, man, that shit got to go on the album. Yeah, that was another one. Oh my God, what else? It's too many. Because like yeah, Dave was just, he was amazing at just off the cuff funny shit. Like just, he was just so off the cuff with it. Um,
Well,
I feel like I'm missing one from Bionics that he did something silly on. I don't know, man. It's just too many.
look, man, it has taken forever for this to happen,
Oh no, I know, man. It's cool.
and I really appreciate you taking the time out to let me finally get this interview out after all these years I've been begging you.
Brother.
Yeah, literally, man. I mean, I've said it before, man. Like you guys literally are the inspiration for, and the standard, the gold standard for which Tariq and I judge just greatness, man. And
Thank you
the
so
fact
much.
that you're still constantly doing it and pushing through is commendable. And yeah, man, I can't wait to hear what you guys have next, man. So thank you for doing this for me.
Appreciate it. I love you, man. And thank you so much for
Love you
having
too,
me.
bro. This is the Questlove Show, and I will see you, good people, on the next go round. Thank you. The Questlove Show is hosted by me, Amir Questlove Thompson. The executive producers are Sean G, Brian Calhoun, and me. Produced by Brittany Benjamin and Jake Payne. Produced for iHeart by Noel Brown. Edited by Alex Conroy. iHeart Video support by Mark Canton. Logos, graphics, and animation by Nick Aloe. Additional support by Lance Coleman. Special thanks to Kathy Wrong. Special thanks to Sugar Steve Mandel. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share the Questlove Show wherever you stream your podcast. Make sure you follow us on socials. That's at QLS. Check out hundreds and hundreds of QLS episodes, including the Questlove Supreme shows and our podcast archives. Questlove Show is a production of iHeartRadio.